O.J. Simpson as civil rights victim, it was disgusting. It was appalling.
Hello everyone, my name is Jake Smith and welcome back to From the Cinema. This week, in light of our recent political paradigm shift, I thought it would be appropriate to review a miniseries/film that I think is in tune with our current political, economic, and racial anxieties. O.J. Made in America is ESPN's most recent docuseries that chronicles the rise and fall of O.J. Simpson, the Heisman-winning sports figure who was later accused and later found innocent of 2 charges of murder. Documentaries, in my mind, are often plagued by their rather banal approach to both truth and form. The worst documentary instincts have been played out time and time again. Somnambulistica, talking heads mixed with archival footage, all edited together to suggest rather than emote. Too many documentaries attempt to play things straight, but the best know when to show their hand and when to hide it. O.J. Made in America takes the documentary approach and let it reach chaotic highs of subjective truth and emotional highs and lows of O.J. Simpson. The first part, which chronicles his time in college and later the pros, is ecstatic to watch. O.J. the football player earned some of the NFL's record for most yards rush, and watching him running the ball is some of the best football has to offer. This contrasts well with the last section in which the now unpopular O.J. hangs out in Florida with some rather unsavory characters. O.J. hangs in sketchy nightclubs and stars in music videos that feature him among guns, drugs, and naked women. The music video is handheld and cheap-looking, creating a grimy dissonance. The series ultimately is about the dissonance of O.J. Simpson. The filmmakers wisely never let O.J. have a moment to explain himself in hindsight. Everything is archival and helps not only to shape the film chronologically, but also allows for the many faces of O.J. Simpson to come through. O.J. is chameleon-like and charismatic. We watch as he goes from young college player to pro, to cultural image, and finally into murderer. Watching O.J. shift is fascinating as it is tragic, and given O.J.'s propensity for creating a marketable image, we get to see how iconography not only shapes public perception, but how becoming an image, a symbol even, can affect someone. Because O.J. is rendered an image, a symbol, an object we project our perceptions upon, he effectively becomes a mirror of sorts by which race is examined. O.J. starts off critical of civil rights era, essentially acting as a Uncle Tom to the demonstrations that were going on. As a result, he often won favor from more hardline conservatives and the public in general. As he moves up, becoming a professional ad man, he receives a mix of backslapping congratulation and empowerment narrative just as much as he gets skepticism and critique. Such an image feeds into his ego and makes Nicole Simpson unable to find help for when she is abused by O.J., trapped in a prison of public perception. By the time he allegedly murders her, though, is when the levee breaks and race tensions are revealed. Leading up to the trial, Rodney King is beaten within an inch of his life by a group of LAPD officers. The cops are found innocent, and the tension between cops and black folk come to a violent climax as riots ensue in Los Angeles. The tension feeds into the trial itself. The defense team plays up to this tension, and as a result, O.J. becomes something of a divide between black and white folk. O.J. becomes a symbol of police corruption, a successful black man being subjected to the same mistreatments other black folks have endured. For whites, he represents a danger that they cannot articulate. Both sides are wrong for different reasons, and I think this is the reason why the film is so fascinating. It allows for a more nuanced investigation of race in America that moves beyond Manichaean banalities. O.J. plays to our racial perception, acting something as a litmus test for how we engage with race. Another fascinating aspect of the documentary is how it plays with empathy. O.J. is not a good man by any means, and many of the talking heads, including the self-admitted racist cop Mark Fuhrman, are not much better. However, the film maintains an even hand, never dipping into maudlin preaching. It is more than just simplistic offering people a chance to explain themselves. It is another litmus test by which we examine our own prejudices, sympathies, and ideologies. This goes especially with O.J. As we see him go from young go-getter into accused murderer into washed-up figure, it's emotional, and the film creates empathy for him. Something that bugged me about the fictionalized TV version that came out last year was that O.J. was played much more narrowly, where he was being more childish, unhinged. The O.J. depicted in the documentary, by contrast, endears the full range of experience. Because of the length of the film, we are able to explore these full ranges of experiences too. O.J. Made in America is 10 hours long if watched back to back, and it is absolutely necessary to be this long. O.J. the man, the symbol, and the event is a microcosm of the experience of race in America, of the politics of the time and the shifted cultural attitude. The film explores this fully without ever becoming tired, but also maintains ambiguities and obscuring of the truth. As a result, so many people coming together to be interviewed, OJ, the case, and the Times are presented with a milieu of angles and perspectives. While they may contrast and frustrate, they also offer a nuanced examination of the times. A more banal filmmaker would perhaps offer an obvious interpretation, but OJ Made in America instead seeks to remain shadowy, but never distant. This is a necessary film. We are living in a time in which our anxieties are being manipulated and abused, not to mention that Hollywood is so dreadfully incompetent at handling race as a thematic modality without getting smug, pandering, or whitewashing at its worst. We are going to see another shift in how we represent race as a result of our political paradigm shift. We're going to see more rampantly racist films, either more focused on making minorities into villains or rendering these same minorities as vessels for commentary and therefore dehumanizing them in the process. We're going to see mass media erupt, boil over, and consume the cultural landscape, while trying to pacify the viewers to the horrors of everyday existence rather than seeking to interrogate, critique, or lash out. Minorities will be rendered instruments and tools of this change rather than agents. OJ Made in America will not be a cathartic experience, nor will it be one that offers an easy answer. But it is a film that lays out bare the truth about America and how far we can take the American dream before it becomes a wildfire that lashes against the spirit, before it wreaks havoc against people. It is a necessary film, and perhaps one of the most necessary films of the year. I give O.J. Simpson Made in America a 9 out of 10. I would recommend highly watching it, and I would suggest watching it close together as possible in order to give the series a cinematic experience. Thank you everyone for watching From the Cinema. I'm Jake Smith, and I hope to see you again.
It's easy to be friends when somebody's winning. You know, you gotta have tragedy in your life to really write an interesting autobiography.